On today's show, endgame content has been pushed up for Monster Hunter Wilds, and we do a tournament-style bracket for the Monster Hunter Weapon Design Contest. So don't forget your hot drinks, as we ready up for this episode of the Palibros. What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 17 of the Palibros, a podcast where a group of friends get together to talk about anything and everything Monster Hunter. Of course, I'm one of your hosts, and the first to cart, Patrick Jovez. Alongside me, we have the Mixset Maniac, Brian.
Good to see everybody.
The Hunting Horde Elitist, Max.
Greetings.
And so tasty, Ryan.
I don't know.
Is this a Monster Hunter song, or is this just a song?
It's a combination.
I was
of
just
things.
trying to see. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've been to a concert live, and then like the singer does like it like slightly slower or like a different cadence than you usually, and you're just kind of sitting there,
I
like,
see.
You just made me look so foolish. I saw everyone bopping their head, and I was like, I gotta switch it up. I gotta do the live version, you know.
In my head, it sounded like the Andy Griffith whistle. Wait, is that Andy Griffith?
Well, when you break it up so much, it could probably be anything, to be honest.
That's true. How you guys been? Anything? Have you guys gone out, done anything cool? Seen any cool movies, shows? What's up?
Oof.
I
So
know.
you see Fantastic Four.
You haven't
I saw
seen it yet?
Superman.
You saw
Saw
Superman.
Superman.
Superman was great.
I saw Superman.
I love
Superman's
Superman. I know you came back
Still need to
from
see
a family trip, Brian. How'd that go?
Mm-hmm. A lot of fun. Went to Bend, Oregon. Drank a lot. Floated down a river on rafts, or I guess inflatables, and got to spend a lot of time with family. It was a great time. Look forward to doing it again soon.
It's great, man. Yeah, I actually got to celebrate my pops and my sister's birthday. They actually share the same birthday, so it's pretty cool. We kind of did like a separate thing, and then we did something together, like all on Sunday. It was cool. I took both of my sisters out on Friday to meet them up in the city, and took them out to Fantastic Four, and it was pretty dope. The movie itself was interesting. I'm not gonna spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, but what was really cool was I ended up actually, after the movie was over, I ended up doubling back to the bathroom, where I actually ran into kind of funny co-founder Tim Geddes. As he was leaving the bathroom. It was super crazy because the night, I don't remember my dreams, right? It was pretty crazy because the night before I had a dream that I was hanging out with all like the kind of funny hosts and everybody. So then when I actually saw him, like I was walking towards the bathroom and he was walking out, and for some reason I decided to just like look, and I like looked and kind of stared at him as he walked by me, and I go, Tim? And he turns around and he goes, hey, what's up? And I was like, am I still in a dream? Like, am I dreaming right now? I was like Inception, and I started kind of like getting weirded out, like what is happening to my brain? And I realized he was still just staring at me. So I was like, oh, sorry. And I introduced myself. I was like, hey, I'm Patrick, Krabby Patty, if you see me in chat. And then he was like, oh yeah. I was like, are you here for Fantastic Four? And he's like, yeah, this is actually my second viewing. And then I was like, oh, we actually just got out and blah blah blah. And he was kind enough to like give me the time of day, just have a quick chat, and ask him for a photograph. So yeah, shout outs to Tim. He was even nice enough to kind of squat down to make me seem a little bit taller in the photo, so that was dope. And his hands were very wet, I'm hoping because he washed them. But yeah, that was pretty much my weekend. It was actually really cool. So yeah. But yeah, it was super nice of him to do that. And really cool. I actually got to meet him for once.
Mm-hmm.
But
awesome.
yeah, Max, have you done anything cool? Just been chilling.
Not much.
Yeah,
Just chilling.
yeah. Ryan, just same thing.
I did a cool filmmaker event the other day. We're at the Adobe headquarters. That was kind of cool.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Got to see some short films from local filmmakers, and yeah, it was cool. I've never been to the Adobe offices, and it was pretty cush. There was like a little nacho bar and some like beers in a bucket, and to see all the homies, and cool. It was cool to switch it up. It's part of this like networking group that I'm usually in, but it's in Oakland, so it's the first time they've done it in San Francisco, which I'm like, thank goodness, you know.
Yeah.
I have to freaking take my car and drive over there because it's nowhere near any public transit. So it's nice to actually like hop on a muni train and just bop over there real easily and not have to worry about it so much. Because, you know, usually these networking events involve a little bit of drinking, but I just never imbibe because, you know, I got to drive home, and the events are so short that it's like it's not even worth it. You know, it's like I drink like one beer and then I don't know, it just feels like I don't know, I'd rather just abstain and,
right,
you know, like not worry about the calories later.
gotta watch your figure.
Yeah. Well, I just, you know, I'm pretty strict about, you know, if I'm going to drive, I don't really drink, or I drink really, really far ahead of when I got to leave. So
yeah,
it's just like, it's never been worth it. So it almost was weird to like have a beer there. And I was like, oh, so fancy.
That's cool. You got to enjoy yourself finally.
Yeah. It was, I mean, I always enjoy myself, but you know, I'm always one to like go out to a bar or bar hop or something. So, you know, it's something that I enjoy doing, but you know, in that context, it's never really matched up. So it's cool that I was finally in San Francisco. Got to see some really cool stuff as well.
That's great.
So probably going to make some indie circuits soon. So it's cool to always get like the first peek for some from some local people.
Cool. Right on. That sounds awesome, actually. Let me remind you that this is the Palibros podcast, where each and every episode we try to keep you up to date on the latest Monster Hunter news, play Monster Hunter trivia, and in general talk about one of our favorite franchises. So don't forget, you can get each and every episode on youtube.com/@thepalibros, Spotify, and a variety of other podcast services for your listening pleasure. And if you like what we do, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing this episode with friends, and hitting that bell icon to help support us and to know when each of the latest episodes are posted. With all that out the way, let's begin our show with the latest in Monster Hunter news. Today in Monster Hunter news, we have 1.5 stories. Our first story, alarms must be blaring at Capcom. Monster Hunter Wilds dropped from 10 million sales in a month to under 500,000 in 3 months, falling behind years-old games as the PC ports remain busted. This news comes from Games Radar and is written by Austin Wood. A new financial report from Capcom reveals just how steeply Monster Hunter Wilds sales have fallen off amid persistent PC performance issues that have saddled the game with thousands of overwhelmingly negative recent user reviews on Steam. Its biggest platform in at least the US market for months. In its first quarter report for the fiscal year covering April through June 2025, Capcom admits sales were soft for Monster Hunter Wilds. This is swiftly followed by word that I'm having a tough time today. This is swiftly followed by word that the previous games in the series, Monster Hunter Rise, continue to see sales growth, which is naturally presented as good news. However, a sales ranking embedded in a separate presentation makes this read more like damning with fine praise. Capcom shared its top 10 best-selling titles for this quarter. Have a look at the full list and see just how long it takes to get to Monster Hunter Wilds, the biggest Capcom release of this year so far. So they give us a list of the top selling Capcom games for this quarter, and from top to bottom, best to worst, it goes as follows. Devil May Cry 5 with 1.782 million, Resident Evil Village with 923,000, Resident Evil 4 with 706,000, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard with 635,000, Devil May Cry HD Collection 594,000, Street Fighter 6 538,000, Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition 495,000, Resident Evil 2 482,000, Monster Hunter Wilds 477,000, and followed by that is Monster Hunter Rise with 389,000. For the rest of the article, go ahead and give them the click over there at Games Radar. But I will kind of want to transition into another article, which is the title is Monster Hunter Wild's Endgame expansion moved up as game suffers from soft sales. This comes from Rebecca Valentine over there at IGN. Monster Hunter Wilds got off to an incredible sales start when it launched in February. Unfortunately, it seems as though its success has fallen off one heck of a cliff since then, and Capcom appears to be trying to amend that by releasing an endgame content expansion much sooner than expected. The sales data comes from Capcom's quarterly earnings report, which includes a slide presentation showing sales data for the company's top 10 best-selling games from April 1st to June 30th. The presentation shows that Monster Hunter Wild sold 477,000 copies during that period, only just above the 389,000 copies sold for the 4-year-old game Monster Hunter Rise. Wilds was the 9th best-selling game of the quarter for Capcom, while Rise was the 10th. To be clear, even though Rise is 4 years old, those aren't exactly gangbuster sales figures either. In Capcom's consolidated financial results, the company says, quote, regarding catalog titles, although sales were soft for Monster Hunter Wilds, the latest title in the series released in February this year, Monster Hunter Rise, a previous title in the same series, continued to see sales growth, end quote. This is technically true in that Rise continues to sell copies, but calling it growth is a bit of a stretch. Last quarter, Monster Hunter Rise only sold 384,000 copies. In fact, sales of the game slowed down significantly throughout last year after the game sold 725,000 in quarter 1, 640,000 in quarter 2, and 691,000 in quarter 3. That's not really shocking, especially once Wilds was announced. People were bound to hold off on buying Rise if there was a brand new game just around the corner. What's more interesting here is how much better Rise was selling throughout most of last year, several years later after its release, than Wilds is selling now. Just a few months out from its launch, Wilds saw a steep sales drop-off. After releasing during the first quarter to a Capcom record-setting 10.108 million copies sold, 8 million of which were just in 3 days, Wilds shot up to become the best-selling game in the US year-to-date, according to Circana. And while it's still number 1 as of July 5th, due to the initial spike, for the month of June, it didn't even crack the top 20 best-selling games. Why is Wilds having such a bad time of things? Well, despite reviewing well initially, its endgame content is sorely lacking compared to past games, so many fans who played Monster Hunter over the time with friends are struggling. It's also suffering from severe performance issues on PC specifically that have yet to be fully resolved. Despite new content and seasons, fans remain unsatisfied with the state of the game, to the point where some players are taking things too far and apparently harassing and threatening individual Capcom team members over it. Which all perhaps explains why Capcom has bumped up a planned expansion of endgame content from the end of September to August 13th. The planned expansion will include a new level of quest difficulty, a new reward system, weapon balance adjustments, and other improvements. It's unclear as of yet if this will solve the performance issues, but perhaps it will sate those frustrated at Wild's weaker endgame. We'll have to wait for more details to see if this is the start of a turnaround or if Wilds will go down as one of the more disappointing Monster Hunter titles long term. In the meantime, perhaps a Rise renaissance is on the horizon if fans gravitate back to older games. So what do you got? Yeah, there's a lot to unpack. We got to see cold, hard numbers this time around. So yeah, like, do you think this is the turnaround, the turning point of the overwhelmingly negative reviews going away, or is this kind of like dead in the water?
I don't know if I want to say dead in the water, but it feels like they're having to be very reactive right now. Right. I think when you have to pivot very quickly like that, sometimes some of the decisions aren't made. The best decisions don't necessarily are made when you're in a hurry like that. So it seems like they're just trying to play fix it, and this may extend things for a little longer. But I honestly don't really see things getting significantly better until we have an actual, master rank release, because that's when we'll most likely see performance improvements at a level that actually are noticeable and significant. The fact that we're, 4.5 months in or so or more, and we're still not seeing those PC improvements, that's a little disheartening. So I'll keep my cautious optimism, but I need to see once August 13th comes around before I pass my full judgment.
Right.
I think it's worth noting for context that, looking at the report, it's easy to say like, oh my God, Monster Hunter Wilds sold worse than all these years old games. It's worth noting for context that there was recently a Devil May Cry show that released on Netflix that's reviewing very positively. So it's not too far-fetched to think that may have a significant impact on the selling of the older games. It's also makes me wonder how much of the player base of Monster Hunter Wilds, it seems like it was very, very front-loaded. Everybody that was going to play the game maybe already bought it. And, something like Rise, which is already a more complete experience, is probably on a much deeper sale. Like, I don't know if off the top of my head whether Wilds has been on any sort of significant sales or whether there's been anything sort of to entice newer players, especially given this sort of ongoing issues. It is also like, I haven't looked through the financial reports in great detail, but I did hear that Capcom is still up significantly year on year. But, the metrics for this latest quarter were not amazing, and it did have an impact on the Japanese stock price of Capcom. From what I'd heard, the markets were impacted.
Yeah. I mean, you bring up a good... Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, as far as, them being reactionary to kind of the sales or the player base and the sales kind of dropping off, I think you see players being kind of fed up and or hearing through the grapevine the experience being poor. So, being a console player, I think we already know that I'm having an above average experience with this game. I'd be very curious to see what if they're having similar. I'm assuming this is all sales, right? These numbers.
Ooh, that's a good question.
I'm not sure how the metrics are split by platform or.
I just mean that like the articles are referencing like Steam sales, or I'm assuming
it's all because
yeah. So, anyways, I mean, as far as the endgame stuff, I mean, I know that we've definitely scaled back a little bit, and we still play it, but it's it's not with the fervor that we did when it first came out. But I mean, that's just to be expected, right? I mean, there's only so many hours you could possibly put in. I think we all ended up being of all of the main content about 200 hours in, and that's not an insignificant investment. Like normal people, again, I feel like I'm kind of retreading all the ground here, but normal people, that they're probably barely touching that just yet. We're just happen to be people who are very into the franchise. So what is the end game being moved up say about how Capcom feels? I think I agree with Brian. It's reactionary, and it probably is a bad thing. It means that like they're trying to save face and like are speeding things up, and that probably means they're going to break something, which would only be more detrimental to like their performance woes. I mean, people already have such a negative experience. If like you release some stuff early and it breaks something, like people are going to flip out. They're going to freak. So I don't know. I'm as someone who's got like a stable version of the game, like more content is more content. I'm happy about that. I think that's kind of ultimately how I see it. But that's just my perspective. It's hard to understand the level of frustration that you guys are also dealing with when it comes to lack of content and the performance issues continuing.
Right. Yeah, I think I am excited for more content earlier on, and that's all well and good. My kind of concern is like, is that enough to turn the ship around? Because like at the end of the day, which is the more significant? Like what is the bigger issue? Is it performance or is it content? And I honestly can't tell you the answer to that question. Like I don't know if people aren't coming in because they're hearing so much negative. Like if there are people on the fence thinking about getting Monster Hunter Wilds, but they're hearing all this negative stuff about performance and lack of endgame content and stuff like that, is that like deterring them from actually buying the game? Are they going to wait for sales? Are they going to wait for when they finally hear that, oh, Monster Hunter Wilds is on the rise again? Like, you know, so it's interesting to see that Capcom is reacting this way, and you know, they're basically fighting on their heels now, just trying to like stay afloat for this kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm interested to try out all the new like the new hunts and stuff like that, and looking forward to more content. Hopefully, like Brian says, just stay cautiously optimistic on hopefully PC performance issues get fixed sooner than later, and you know, hopefully this thing kind of just turns around on itself. But yeah, this has kind of just been the story for Monster Hunter Wilds after the initial honeymoon phase, you know. And it's kind of, I mean, I hate to like sound like a broken record, but like this is just how it's going to be for a while until they finally get like master rank out, or until they finally fix all these PC issues.
We'll see. We'll see if RE Engine can be adopted to open world with enough updates.
Was Rise RE Engine as well?
Yeah.
And it ran, I don't remember it running like this
seriously
on PC.
I believe it was.
I believe it was too, right?
It was on RE Framework, because I know it used a lot of the same mods and the. Yeah. I mean, it's also significantly. It's also like a Switch game, so the textures and all the assets used in the game are not particularly demanding.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am curious. I'm hopeful that them moving this up doesn't break more things.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of, it's like they probably have these timelines for a number of reasons in terms of their content release schedule. Part of it is because they want to. I'm sure some of it is artificial in terms of wanting to plan out content drops. Some of it is probably also like they actually need time to work on things. And I hope this isn't a case of like, oh no, everything's on fire, let's just give them what we've got.
Yeah.
In which case, you know, is this going to be as, you know, is there going to be total parity with the systems that they were planning to release? Or is this like, you know, are we just getting the same things earlier, or are they making changes in order to give us what, you know, whatever they can get out fast? I mean, I'm willing to take more content if they've got it, but
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm cautiously optimistic.
I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see for that one. And of course, if you hear that sound, it means that we're all readied up for the topic of the show. And for today's main topic, we put all the submissions for the Monster Hunter weapon design contest into a tournament style bracket to see which one will come out on top. If you didn't know, Capcom held a weapon and charm design contest where Monster Hunter fans could submit their own ideas for a cool new weapon to be put into the game. Unfortunately, Capcom is only picking one of these submissions to add in, so we thought it'd be a great idea to celebrate everyone's submissions and bring attention to the great artists and their work in the Monster Hunter community. Ryan did a lot of work to get all the available artwork along with the artists' names, so thank you, Ryan, for doing all that, and thank you to Max for bringing this contest to our attention. So what's going to happen next is that we'll be putting all the artwork in a tournament style bracket, and we'll go through each of them to decide who the Palibros thinks has the best weapon design and what weapon should be put in the game. Unfortunately, there are some pieces of artwork that we could not link to an artist, so we can't really tell you the name, but they'll still be in the bracket. For my audio listeners out there, do not worry. We're going to try our best to describe what the weapons look like in detail, what we like about it, all the cool things that's going on, so you guys don't miss out. But if you can, we highly suggest that you guys check out the video for this one. And with all that out the way, let's begin the Palibros Weapon Contest of Champions. So first up, our first design is from the artist Bardo Extra, and it is for the Ghost Insect Glaive. And that is going to be put against the Switch Axe, which is done by Crowned Gecko, and that is named Bellowing Frostman. So Ryan, if you could so kindly bring up the first one.
Yeah, everyone can see everything going on here.
We sure can.
Sounds good. So here is the full design. As you can see in the brackets, we've kind of like put just an icon for each thing, but we're going to go through and make sure everyone can see all of the full attention to detail and all of the notes that each of the artists has given. So Bardo put this together. I think it's a really cute design. Even as someone who's not a Cyclave user, I love the idea of like a little ghost, almost like Palico companion, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you're an audio listener, what we're looking at right now is an insect glaive where the actual weapon handle is, it looks like a Victorian era kind of like, think melted candlestick on one end, and then like a Victorian era kind of like gas lamp at the bottom, or street lamp with just like a flame at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at some of the notes, it says change color depending on the extract, so it changes color of like the light or the lamp part, and for like red extract it turns red and stuff like that, so that's pretty cool. The blade itself is the candle wick, like the whole bunch of metallic candle or melted candle wicks together, and it looks like the Kinsect is actually like a kind of like a, I want to say Kingdom Hearts looking kind of ghost, like a
looks like a heartless, almost,
like a heartless ghost, holding a candle. It's pretty. Honestly, I think this is one of my favorites, and we've only seen this one so far. But I really like this design for me, especially as a new Kinsect or insect glaive user. Like I'd be down to rock this.
New Kinsect main, new insect glaive main.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
I dig it. I'm a huge fan of everything Halloween and spooky, so this instantly gets a lot of brownie points with me. I kind of like how the blade is the melted candles, but also what looks to be like this ornate metalwork.
Mm-hmm.
I guess is it the candelabra? I forget what's the metal piece on a candle. So it seems like multiple portions of the weapon could be used for cutting, which is really neat. And the fact that you get a little boo ghost with its own little candle floating around. I'd like to know how fast it moves, because if it's like really slow, it'd be kind of cute if it just like floats.
Yeah.
But you speed it up and it's just like zooming around. It'd be kind of funny if like the hood, it does have a little bit of like a draped hood over it's obscuring its face. So that hood kind of maybe pulls back a little bit, or if it's moving too quick.
And when it's not flying, it's sleeping on your arm. That's so fucking cute. Like
that's neat.
They actually drew an arm and it's laying down, and its eyes are kind of like closed. It's really cute.
I like the attention to detail on the right side too. It says fiery effect, and it shows like green and blue and like flames, and then you look at the candelabra or the candle kind of fountain of candles, and they're different like blue and green colored flames as well. So I love the attention to detail between the two as well.
So I'm not sure exactly how we're factoring, or how much I should necessarily factor in what I would perceive the feasibility of all these different elements being added in is. Because as a design, I really feel like the ghost Kinsect sort of completes it for me. Like it's really, really cute. But like I don't know, like are there any examples of insect glaives that have sort of unique Kinsects? Because like I give it a lot of extra points for the thematic elements that all sort of come together with the Kinsect, but like I think like it would lose a lot of points if it was like this insect glaive with your generic butterfly on your arm or something. Like
that's true.
Wouldn't quite work. I would say
layered armor now, or layered weapons too, right?
True. I would say because this is the very first one in the bracket, don't be too harsh on it, and as it potentially moves on, then you can be more critical. That would be my thought. Like I think as this first round comes through, it's just like more general impressions, and then it's going to be more scrutiny, I think, like where you can be like, well, if this makes it to the finals, like, do we really think it matches up better against blank, because practicality or theme or thematically, or Monster Hunter's never done this, did we break a rule for this custom weapon kind of thing? Anyways, overall, I think it's great. I think we all think it's pretty good. Do you guys want to check out the next one?
Yeah, please.
Sounds good.
All right, so this is the matchup.
I was going to say,
pick one of the two.
Yeah. Okay. So this next one is by Crowned Gecko. It is for a Switch axe, and it is named the Bellowing Frostman. Ooh.
Gleam, sparkle, sparkle.
It's
I
very
think overall I think the art is better on this. I think that like design is more Monster Hunter, but I will say it's almost like too cool. Like it's like more about the cool factor than it is about being interesting. It just looks like a cool switch axe that happens to have like a wolf on it. So at least head to head, I think I'm leaning one way or the other. But like on its own points, extremely well designed, very cool looking. Just kind of badass. I think that's gonna be a lot of what we see is just like cool shit,
Yeah.
I think this is one of those weapons that just like is just unequivocally cool, just like really well thought out. You can even see like on the left side they have this almost like blueprint cross section of like here are the actual machinations of like how these parts all fit together, which I'm sure the devs are appreciative of if it does win, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the color scheme in this one. It's whole different kinds of hues of blue, and then the juxtaposition against like the actual steel is like steel gray of the switch axe. I think the color composition is really well done, and I like the design. I'm not a switch axe user, but this weapon actually does fit really well in Monster Hunter. It does look like something you would see like just in the shop. It looks like, I can't tell, is it, well, it's freezes in terror. When the Frostmaw howls, the land freezes in terror. There's like a quote
I think
on
it's just
here.
like a Pokédex. I think it's just like a Pokédex.
Yeah,
entry,
so I'm just thinking like I could see you like fighting like a Gosharog or like the Jindahad, and you'll like upgrade like the tree to get this type of weapon, because it shows that in like a sword mode it has like some kind of like frost covered stuff like spiraling around the blade itself, and there's like kind of like a wolf head in the center of it. It's
like a mosaic, like Kingdom Hearts esque in a way.
But it looks like it's breathing out like frosted air. Like
it's cool.
It's a really cool detail.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh, there it goes. It says sword mode with gauge something.
Gauge max. It looks like
max. Yeah.
State.
I don't know. I know nothing about swaxing, so I'm like, sure. Like, how do I make my sword breathe? That's pretty cool. But yeah, what do you guys like about it?
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of. So I'll make it. I'm a big fan of a lot of the weapons that have like altered state effects in this. Like when you have your great sword, where it like changes as you go through the different charge levels. Once like having the extra cool effect when you get like a maxed gauge, it kind of feels like, oh man, I'm really gonna get this monster now.
It's kind of like a reactive gun in like Call of Duty or something like that.
It's also lots of visual clutter in the game, so if you can like help the player know when they're like their sword is fully charged or the thing is maxed out, that's also just beneficial in the game.
Yeah.
It's simple. You just install a mod that makes your glowing, by the way, so you can focus on the weapon instead. This is a really cool design. I do see a lot of the Kingdom Hearts vibes with the centered mosaic kind of stained glass. Though I would imagine, I'm curious if that glass portion is flat or if it's more spherical. Or I guess convex, but
you can see in the
side view.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
so it is.
Oh, yeah.
So you're right. It's less.
You can see with your eyes.
I can see with my eyes. That's why they put it there.
It can still be glass or stone or anything. It's definitely like glowing and like has an opaque kind of nature to it that like light is shining through.
Yeah, I dig it. The wolf design, and I'm now noticing there's 3 wolves, so it's almost like a Cerberus kind of look to it, which is kind of neat.
There's 3?
There's 3. Yeah, look at the sides.
Yeah, there's like a side profile of wolves, like to the left and the right of the main one, in the center of the like mosaic.
Yeah.
This might be kind of like the most meaningless thing to say. Like I feel like its level of completeness as like the switch axe design, like it really feels like I can perfectly imagine how it functions as a switch axe, but like all the different elements of like how it transitions between states, like it has all the elements of a switch axe to make me look at it and be like, yes, I can see all the different components and how it functions in motion. And how it transitions between states. Like I feel like it really captures that essence of a switch axe really well.
Well
I was gonna
said.
say, I think that's its greatest strength is like I can see the mechanisms. Like I really appreciate that the blade from this still image, I can imagine how the animation slots together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that the artist did an incredible job of like making sure that you understood without too much description. I mean, because as the person who's seen all of these entries, you know, there are some that aren't as detailed, or there's lots of like written description of what's supposed to happen, but this is like kind of effortlessly shows you like, yeah, here's how the blades fit together. This is how it transforms. Here's some cool elemental effects. So extremely, extremely well thought out. I think it gets a ton of bonus points for just being like something that is like probably something that the art team could easily just do, you know, whereas like some of the other designs where they might have to do a little more thinking. This is very technically sound, which I appreciate greatly. Although I will say again, its main strength is that it's just got this like cool factor.
Yeah.
Other than the technical side.
Well, great job to Crowned Gecko and Bardo Extra for your guys' submissions. Unfortunately, we're going to have to pick which one will go, will move forward. So, guys, I'll go one by one. Which one do you think should move forward? Starting with Brian.
I'm gonna pick Bardo for the insect glaive just because I think it's unique and cool. Monster Hunter weapons are something that they already do on their own. So I think the strength of this, like this community feedback, is that they can kind of like do something unique to Monster Hunter. And so I think that like even though Bellowing Frostman is like a great design and it's extremely well thought out, I think that the Ghost Insect Glaive is like slightly more the point of the community event. So I'm going to give my vote to Bardo.
All right. So we have one for the Ghost Insect Glaive. Max, what do you think?
This one's kind of tough. I think I'm also going to go with the Ghost Insect Glaive. I think maybe it's just the Bellowing Frostwind feels like it lacks like a little bit of color or oomph or something to it. I mean, like I feel like the Ghost Insect Glaive is colorful enough and it's like it's out there enough, but it feels like it could be something that fits into Monster Hunter just as easily. I think if you're looking at like the Rachnikodaki armor and weapons from Rise are also kind of somewhat similar thematically. Like the light bow gun is like a little handheld lantern, so it's like within the same ballpark. I'm giving a lot of points under the assumption that it does have the unique insect that goes to sleep on your arm. That's high point. That's high points for me.
Yeah. What about you, Brian?
I'm also going to give it to Bardo. I love everything about the spooky feel of the weapon and I'm a huge fan of everything Halloween themed. So the fact that this has all of those elements for me was just kind of almost an instant win. But and yes, I think the unique design of it with the ghost in particular, I just want to see Capcom do it. I'm like, this is a very unique design and it'd be really cool for them to do something like that. It's very memorable. I do feel like Crown Gecko's Bellowing Frostman is, if I were to see that weapon just in the base game, I would be like, this is one of the coolest weapons that they've ever done. So that alone makes it a very impressive design. But yeah, it doesn't have the same level of kind of fun uniqueness that I'm getting from this ghost insect. So,
and I just want to throw in that the rule of cool is indeed historically has been proven to be enough in previous weapon contests. I mean, like the rocket greatsword.
That was so cool.
That's been like that is the ultimate rule of cool.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and vote as well for the Ghost Insect Glaive. Just like everything that you guys have said, like it is unique. It looks really fucking cool. Bellowing Frostman, it looks great. But the thing that kind of pulled over the top for me was just the overall theme of the weapon. I love the Kinsect. Just like Max, that gives me like super high brownie points because I love the fact that the Kinsect is a little cute ghost. And then I really like the mechanics of like the lantern changing lights when you get all your extracts and stuff like that. So super cool design. And yeah, by unanimous decision, the Ghost Insect Glaive moves forward to round 2 of the bracket. So up next we have the tournament. So up next we have a dual blade submission by Economics 7929, which is named
you is like user. It's like a Reddit user.
I don't
user
know. User No Economics 7929 for the dual blades named Angel and Demon. And that's going up against a heart sword. It's a heart sword and shield by an unknown user. So Ryan, if you could please bring up Angel and Demon for us.
Oh wow.
And so this is Angel and Demon by the user No Economics 7929. For the audio listeners, you're looking at 2 separate wings. It is very much an angel and a more devil-like wing, one on each arm. The devil wing, it's kind of cool. It's like tattered. There's some holes through it and stuff like that. But I think the cool thing about it is when you are standing in your idle position and you have your weapons technically sheathed, you have like both wings kind of covering, like flanking both sides of you. So that's pretty interesting. And it's
the color choice is interesting too, because like they're like pink is like the main color, and like the angel side has accents of like purples and like dark blues.
Yeah, very vibrant.
I think this is such a cool design. I think this is like the epitome of like Capcom would never do this, and like that's why I kind of like it a lot, because it's just super unique. Like it doesn't really fit anything they've ever done before, so I think it gets massive points. And also just from an artistic standpoint, this looks almost like a Da Vinci drawing. It's maybe just the way that they kind of sketched it out, and like they have this like paper background to like the submission. But I don't know, it's just I love the uniqueness, and it would be so cool. I mean, can you imagine animating this thing, or like they're doing all the incredibly fast and dynamic dual blade move sets, and it's just like the blades are basically attached to their arm. Like it would just look so incredibly cool. So I'm a big fan of this one, just on like the uniqueness factor, but thinking about how it could translate into the game actually would be just awesome. I really like this design a lot.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
I like the color.
I think it
unique.
Go ahead, Brian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really neat color palette. I am very curious to see how it would translate, and I know we're going to be nice here. We're not going to start getting into the details of how it actually would work, but I feel like what's unique about this sketch is that there's less. I guess they show a couple just different design elements or different like poses, but I'd be really curious to see how other aspects of it work in motion. Like if they do some more sketches, like what's demon mode look like, which may actually even be that middle one. Yeah, so archdemon mode, all of that. It'd be cool to see them kind of animate, or not animate, but do a couple sketches of what some of the other combos might look like. I think this is very fascinating, but I just want to know more about how it would translate to the real game.
It would look crazy as shit when you do the focus attack, right?
Oh my gosh, you'd be flying. Yeah, you just. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's a very strong,
because it's wings.
I think it's a very strong concept, but it's hard for me to judge it as a design because the details are somewhat sparse. I mean, it raises a lot of questions about how it might work, but that simultaneously makes it difficult to judge based on purely what we're going with here. I mean, like the color palette's certainly very bold and striking. It's very unique among all the weapons that are current in the game. It seems like it works well with a lot of the dual blades that have mixed elements. It seemed like I'm wondering, like, well, that is something that there are many dual blades in the game and in the past where I'm trying to think of what it might be. Looking at the conceptually, it'd be like dragon plus like a status element, or like dragon poison, or I'm just My
That could be
imagination
cool
is
too,
going
like
wild.
a dual status. Yeah.
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 It's just vague
Holy
enough to like
is that
leave, like
game.
you said, leave lots of questions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ryan,
What
can
do you
you
think?
bring up? Oh, I thought I already did. I like. I like the idea of it. The color palette, maybe just because it's the only thing that's colored in here. It's like very. it like just kind of comes off the page, but not in like I'm in awe kind of way. I don't know. Something about it just doesn't really do it for me. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I mean, in game, you could almost have like the angel side be like whites and yellow, like
Well,
pale yellows, and the demon side blacks.
Well, the
and
thing
reds
is, you
and
could also
stuff.
color
Yeah.
your weapons and armor pigments and stuff like that. So maybe if I
Yeah.
see it in different colors or kind of cater it to a color style that I would kind of more like to see, I think the actual weapon and its practice would probably look really cool. I'd be interested in that. From the actual submission though, like it's not 100% like getting me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is there weapon color palette swapping, or I thought it was just armor? I haven't messed with the layered.
I haven't messed with the layered stuff either. Well, if it's just this color, then that's not good for this one.
No.
But yeah,
It's very bold in this context, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you have to consider the fact that the game is very colorful already. So this would stand out in the game, but you could also do a more. It reminds me of the Zoshia stuff that came out, where you're like, oh, it's so cool. Like you have this like pitch black and like pure white kind of like armor set. You know, I feel like this could fall into that category of like I remember seeing that in the trailer and being like, whoa, that's so cool.
I
So,
think if the colors
you know,
were a little
yeah,
bit
I'm not-
more matte, then I think I would appreciate it a little bit
Sure.
more. I think this is just
it's also
a
up to the
little too
designers
vibrant,
too.
yeah.
Like the art designers don't have to take it as
Yeah.
is. So they could always adjust it how they. All right, next design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is going up against the Heart Sword, again by an
Wow.
artist that we weren't able to
Yeah,
make.
as you can tell, a lot of people put so much text in their thing where you can see the artists and like their intentionality and like what everything could be. And this, I don't know, I just couldn't find very much on it. So that might be an oversight on my part, but pretty blank as far as like description and attributing themselves, which is unfortunate because it's a great design.
Yeah, so this is the Heart Sword and Shield. I'm just gonna go ahead and say, for audio listeners, if you have watched Sailor Moon before, it very much looks like that little pen that Sailor Moon would like use before she does her multicolored dress like outfit change.
Mhm.
And I'm fucking digging it. Like I actually really think this is really well done. It looks like when you have the shield kind of equipped or like you're blocking or something like that, there's some like extra pink wings that kind of flare out from the top. As well
Almost
as
like an elemental effect. Yeah.
Wait, this is just a sword and shield, right? They have like a
Mhm. Yeah.
something in the middle where maybe they're just showing it off to show it off, but like what they have, it kind of looks like a switch axe or a charge blade transformation, but it's not. But it looks really cool. Yeah. I actually like this a lot.
I like it a lot as well. To me, it almost looks more like a charge blade, given the different states of the weapons.
Right.
I mean, we don't know
Like,
very much
'cause-
about this weapon. It could be a charge blade. It could be just me misunderstanding the design. So
Yeah.
just putting that out there.
Given, I mean, I'm just going based off the fact that there's two different versions of the sword being shown. One of which has sort of extra pink wing elements along the hilt of the sword, and the other is just like a standard unadorned version of it. And that kind of makes me think of you have like the amped sword
Yeah.
or like the charged sword versus also the looking at it in terms of a lot of times sword and shield, the shields are more like a buckler, like a smaller size, and this seems like a kind of a heftier shield.
Yeah.
Design and color wise, I think it is cool. I like all the extra visual effects, like when I'm figuring maybe like an amped or charged state. I think that's always a fun addition to add to the weapon. There's other weapons in the game that have been around for a long time, been popular. I think it's like the Magia Bell or a charm. There's like a sort of magical girl hunting horn that's been very popular for a long time. So like, you know, the precedent is there.
Yeah, I mean, this being a charge blade, I'm all for it. What about you, Brian?
I would say for me,
Brian.
I think that the art is very well done. It's like very actualized, and you know, the shield just being like this heart almost pendant with like an angel in the middle, very pink, like again lots of like kind of Sailor Moon vibes. And you know, like Monster Hunter is very boyish, so like some femininity in the game is like would be welcome for sure, especially because I'm sure there are plenty of female hunters out there, you know. So I think that gets like a huge like bonus just because of that, because it's like, again, Monster Hunter is very like cool, like, you know, lots of like lots of blades and like explosions and fire and shit. So, you know, I think that this having Sailor Moon vibe is like awesome, and I love all the extra elemental. I say elemental because I don't know how to describe it, but like as we were talking about, in its charge state, it has this. Yeah, it has this like fairy aura to it, or like, you know, like the power of love is emanating from it. Like it's literally like hearts and feathers.
Honestly, it kind of looks like a Mizutsune weapon to me.
Oh yeah.
It has like a very similar color scheme to the Mizutsune. How it's like mostly like white-ish, but then there's like hints of like yellow, like pink and purplish.
Yeah,
and stuff
some
like
blues,
that.
and
yeah. Like the longer I look at this, there's so much more intricate work done, and it's like really well done. I really like this one.
Yeah, it's. I think the design is very strong, and I love kind of like how, even though it's simple, you kind of understand everything that's going on, and it's just the art on it is just incredible too. Because like that's, you know, as much as I like the Ghost Kinsect thing, like that's, you know, the art isn't as strong on this, but like some of, like, you can tell like some of these people are really really good artists, and so you know, that always gets like a little bit extra bonus points for me. I'm like, wow, like this is gorgeous. Like this just feels like actual concept art from the game potentially. So well executed, unique design, definitely way different than anything that we have in the game. And I think that the way that the artist kind of is able to portray all the ideas without having any text is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think what really does it for me is just all the extra, kind of feathers or light effects that happen. If the weapon did not have these extra special kind of things going on, I would be a lot more. It would be pretty, but it really adds to it when you see all of this. And I can already imagine just kind of all of the light emitting off of it. I like the little hearts and feathers that come off too. This is this exact example of like why I like this more than what we saw with Angel and Demon, in that there's just more visual understanding here of how the weapon would work. You can kind of see how each piece would translate and function in its transformations. And I think that for designers as well, it makes things a lot easier to do. So love the pink, love the Sailor Moon vibes. I almost kind of get the, this is terrible for me to forget this, but what's the name of the sword in Thundercats? Does it have a name? You know how the hilt changes?
As in like shit.
Right?
Lino. Sight Beyond Sight.
It's named.
Fuck.
No. It's I know. I remember the name. It's called Snarf.
Fucking, I knew it. God damn it.
I have a distinct memory of when he's wielding the sword and it grows. Like, doesn't the hilt change too a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it goes around.
It goes around. Yeah. So I see that kind of element here where the hilt's changing, and it's like, you know, sword in like the charge blade mode.
The Sword of Omens. Come on, guys. Fuck.
I'm looking at the wiki right now.
I failed the rest of our generation.
I said Snarf. I will die on that.
That's close enough.
Nerf.
Yeah.
I love it. It's yeah. I think it was a well done design here, and yeah, there's precedent as well, as Max says, with the hunting horn. So
cool. I think we take it to a vote.
Yeah, I think so too. So who wants? Let's go with Brian, since you're the last one.
Yeah, I think this may be a straight 4-person vote again, but we'll find out. I'm gonna go with Heart, Sword, and Shield.
Okay,
that's my vote for this. I think for a lot of the same reasons we just already spoke about.
Max.
I am going with the heart, sword, and shield. It's easier to sort of conceptualize in the game the different elements and the, it's I do like sort of the concept of the angel and demon dual blades.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's cool to imagine what it might be, but at the end of the day, it's hard to vote for kind of what might be as opposed to sort of what's presented.
Okay, Ryan.
I'm gonna be a little bit of a turkey, as they might say, and I'm gonna go angel and demon. I think I would, in a vacuum, vote heart and the heart styled sword and shield. But it's not called the heart sword and shield. It's just we don't have a name or an author, so we're just But yeah, I'm gonna go angel and demon only because like I have a feeling that it's gonna make its way easily to the next round, and I want to give a nod to the design just because it's so unique, and I love the idea of dual blades basically being like taped to your arms. Like so much of the attack style of dual blades is just like swinging around in a circle, a la like chaos blades or like Geralt, with his like dumb. You can build him out to just be basically a Beyblade. So the idea of having a basic Beyblade in the game gets me the vote, but only because I feel like the deserving winner is about to go through anyways. So I'm giving a dissenting vote only because of that.
In its defense, I will say that I do think, I think some of the coolest dual blades in the games are like the non-standard blades, like the Gormagala has like the giant, like the gauntlets. I think like Nergigante also has like the gauntlets. I think that's kind of a cool thing to explore, like in this way as well.
It's always been like a rumored 14th weapon where it's like, just give us the punch. Just like let us punch the monsters. I mean, in the Akuma event, I think solidified that like desire from the community to just like let me punch things with my hands.
Yeah. This one's gonna be a 3-1 vote. I am gonna go ahead and vote for the heart. I almost call it a charge blade. I think it's a charge blade. It might be. Again,
I would agree.
Yeah, I love the vibes of it. I really think it's done really well. I'd rock the shit out of it. I don't know what it uses, but it's super cute looking. If they had like a armor set that goes with it, like a fucking Sailor Scout, I don't care if it's male or female, like I'd fucking rock that. This is pretty dope. So cool. Well, that one goes to the next round as well. And now we are moving on to a charge blade. There we go. Let's just move that one forward. It's a charge blade named the Front Engrave Blade, and it is by an unknown artist.
I think it's Frost. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Frost.
I spelled that wrong.
Frost Engrave Blade by an unknown artist, and that's going up against the Forbidden Aria Hunting Horn by Valley Uniguri. There you go. So Ryan, if you could bring up
Onigiri.
If you could bring up the Frost Engrave Blade. Let's see what we have here. Oh, okay. Wow.
Whoa.
The ice gem element in the middle, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so
it's very ornate with like the frost art. Interesting.
Holy crap.
Makes me wonder if you could imbue other elements to it,
I'm like I started looking from left to right, and is like, first of all, its design is super clean. In sword and shield mode, or just the weapons itself, it has like a red handle, and then it's like silvery steel like in the middle, and then it's like the outline of it is gold, and then you get like a nice like crystal light blue gem right in the middle of the shield, and you're seeing it from like the front side, so it's like you get that one hint of like different color, and then when you see it from the backside, there's like a whole kind of like a snowflake. I don't even know how you would hold this thing in real life, because I don't get it, but it looks fucking
that's a question
sick
for all of the weapons in this game for sure.
Yeah, it's like a snowflake mix, like a really sharp snowflake on the backside of the actual shield. It looks crazy. But then what made me like kind of just freak out a bit was when you're doing your ultra super amped up charge blade move, the like it looks like the snowflake kind of like shatters or something. It's fucking crazy looking. That's
Charge
really
blade changes
cool.
to axe mode. It will make all of the ice explode and start the engine at shield area for attacking. Is the description in the upper right.
And the actual sword is a chainsaw. So that's pretty dope.
Which I think is a great, like you need to cut ice with a chainsaw. Like that's like like ice is durable and thick, and so like if you're actually if you ever see like an ice sculpturist, like what are they cutting the ice with? A chainsaw. So brilliant, like brilliant little like
details.
The blade could have just been a sword, but they chose to make it a chainsaw, which is just like so smart,
Wow, they even put a little note that says it's a stun impact charge blade, and it's definitely ice elemental. Nice.
I think this would be like just elite if you could maybe change the gem and change the elemental aspect of it. Very strong though. Very well. Also, like the left side is like every single version of the blade, and the right side is all of the character poses. So this person really put a lot of effort into this, and it's regal, it's royal, it's elegant. Like the non elemental version just like looks like a king's blade or something. Looks like something out of like Final Fantasy 15 or something.
Okay, so I misspoke. When your shield is charged up, then it'll look like a fucking ice, a snowflake, like a dagger snowflake, and it's emanating from that ice gem in the middle. That's fucking crazy. It's not the backside; it's the shield. Because I was like looking at the bottom right, where the character is facing away from us and has their stuff just sheathed. And I was like, oh, he has it backwards. Like, we wouldn't be looking at the underside of it. And I was like, wait, but if it's not backwards, does that mean that shit's like charged? And it is. And it's man, this is crazy good. I really like the attention to detail. What do you guys think?
It's extremely intricate. Once again, this is really satisfying my love for just showcasing more of the design and just different ways in which the weapon would be actually animating. And I'm just kind of lost in all of it. I love that point where, it's a chainsaw for ice. It's great. Yeah, there's so much here. I'm like seeing little things as I see more and more of it. I almost get this kind of mechanical vibe from it. I guess that makes sense given it's kind of got the chainsaw feel. And you combine that with just a lot of this beautiful kind of ice, more ornate design. That is wild. Yeah, the inside
I
of
love
the
that
outside.
the metal is all like either ice blue or like black, like obsidian or like kind of cold,
Yeah, this. I know we were looking at the other ice switch axe earlier, but this is something else. This is impressive.
Thanks.
Big likes.
And I feel similarly in a lot of respects. I like the gold accents a lot on it. I almost feel like the chainsaw element of it might be too much. Like it's trying to do too much in a design.
Interesting.
Like I kind of get the same reaction to the switch axe from earlier, where like I think it's cool. And that's my overwhelming response to it, is that like, wow, that's cool. I feel like it's too much for me personally, but like I like the intricacies of like I like the haft of the weapon being like the red really sticks out. I like the silver and the gold elements. I like the elements contained within like the blade and weapon itself. I feel like something about the chainsaw isn't doing it for me as much. But I like I like how well realized it is. There's a lot of elements that jump out to me that you've already mentioned.
I mean, it's kind of cool that the top of the blade is skinnier, so it's like obviously okay, like everything's kind of sliding together. Like there's a consideration for the mechanics there that I think that it's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We'll look at the next one.
Yeah. Oh,
Hunting horn.
look at that.
So this is the forbidden aria of Velki Onigiri. And I don't know, I love this design. I love this kind of like spindle, I think is the wrong word, but like music box kind of design, you know? Jade colors of this like dragon, and the idea that it's like spinning around and like the hilt is like a crank. It's just genius, honestly. Like if you were to say like make a weapon that's a music box, I would never in a million years come up with this. Like it's so well actualized, and the color design is great. Like the greens and the oranges kind of contrasting. This jade dragon kind of hugging this like, you know, bumpy spindle in the middle, where like there are like these metal teeth gripping each note and like playing it as a hunting horn is just so cool. I love all the details here, and I think that like this design is just superb. I think it's like such a cool. No, there's a lot of spoiler alert. There's a lot of hunting horn designs here, but I think that's because music can inspire, you know, so many cool ideas, and so like that crossover specifically is like where some of the rubber meets the road, so to speak. Where if you're in a design contest, it's easier to come up with something creative if you're kind of including other elements, and I think this is like a great example of that, where it's just a music box bonk. Like you're meant to hit monsters with this thing, but somehow it's this delicate thing, you know, at the same time. It's really beautiful, I think.
I almost feel bad using it because I don't want it to break. You're right. Yeah, it's like so ornate.
Music boxes are meant to be like heirlooms and like, you know, things that you pass down to family members, and it's like this it's a literal weapon.
I'm incredibly biased as the honey horn elitist, but I do think this one's really cool. Like if you're knowledgeable about like music history and like pianolas and the use of cylinders for like recording and playing music, like the like in a lot of cases they would use a cylinder with a steel comb. In this case, I think it's really cool. They have like the comb of jade is sort of mimicking the mane of the dragon.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's interesting how like the handle of it is sort of like a crank, as though like you're turning it. To sort of. It's there's all sorts of elements. As I'm something, I consider myself something of a musician, and so I mean there's a lot of this that really works for me.
Yeah.
I also just like the jade and the gold, and it really sticks out to me.
Gorgeous. Also, I want to bring attention to the tail real quick, by the way. The 3D elements, like the front and the back, like the way that the tail curls away, and then on the other side, the artist had the wherewithal to render the tails curling the opposite side. Like, very impressive, like attention to detail from the artist.
Oh yeah, and the legs kind of sticking out in different areas. It's nice, both angles. I'm curious about this scroll with the music inside. Like, it's a cool, subtle detail with, of course, the design, but do you ever see or foresee that being implemented in the weapon's use? Like, that would never come out, right?
I don't think so.
No.
I think it's just a nice little detail for, like, a cool... Like, if you were to buy, like, a Monster Hunter, like, art book, it would be like, oh, like, there's a scroll inside or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it was in there.
But yeah, I totally agree with everything that you guys say. And Max... I realized I was muted the whole time, but Max was like detailing like, the mane is like the actual comb that will make the actual music from the scroll, which is a fucking insane touch. Like the design of this is really cool, and I think, I'm not sure, but I think this might be our first split decision that we're gonna have to flip a coin on, because I think
this is definitely the hardest one so far.
I think
everything's like somewhat easy.
Yeah, at first glance, I was looking at this and I was like, this isn't as cool as the charge blade, but like the more I look at it, I'm like, fuck, like this is insanely cool. And I'm not even a hunting horn guy, but
it's simple, but it's not.
Yeah, it seems simple at first glance, and then when you kind of just take the entire thing and you just kind of, it's like that. I think that's what great art does, right? Like you take a look at it and then you just kind of lose yourself more and more. You find more details of different things, and you're like, this is insane. But
I also think that like the dragon design specifically is like looks like it could be in a museum. Like there's almost this like Mayan Aztec like I could totally see like this being in like the British Museum or something. Just like the level of like, I feel like this person's an art history nerd. Is my guess.
Yeah.
Just based on like
it feels like an artifact or something.
It does, and it's so effortless too. Like this is a fake weapon in a fake game where nothing is real, and they've made it feel like if you dug this out from like a temple, it would be like the greatest find ever.
Yeah.
Like, it's extremely ornate, but not being too like pompous about it. It's just like it's very just is what it is. You know, it just feels like you've a part of a civilization that you've never even conceived of. So really, really, really strong design.
If this was Uncharted and you find like a glint in like the snow or something, you just hear like that little pan flute.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, this is what that is.
This does feel like this exactly feels like something out of Uncharted. Really, really well said. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, let's put it up to a vote.
This one's gonna be tough.
Ryan, go ahead and start us off.
I'm gonna have to give it to the hunting horn. Like, I appreciate the regalness and the intentionality and the design of the charge blade. There's just something that like tugs on my heartstrings about this feeling like belongs in a museum. Just feels like I have to give the vote to the Forbidden Aria hunting horn.
Fucking traitor.
It's just so good, man. It's just like such a beautiful weapon, and I love like the frost blade gave us so much detail and so many angles, and like really was self-actualized. But there's just something like special about that hunting horn, I think.
All right, Brian.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Forbidden Aria as well. I really liked the amount of detail in the front engrave blade that we saw earlier. But what's funny is it's like all of that extra detail and all of the extra animation, or not animation, but just art that they used at first, which really I enjoyed. I'm almost kind of seeing as what effectively went up against it, in that the Forbidden Aria was able to just win with just such simple design choices, just having a beautifully done weapon that you can just imagine working extraordinarily. And my imagination just takes over. I can just see how everything would work and move. And we don't need more than, 3 or 4 images to see how that would happen. So I'm kind of then agreeing with Max, where it's like there's like almost too much going on with the charge blade. Compared to this, and you know what, we need more hunting horn designs. They're super cool.
No, we don't, damn it.
You want this charge blade?
This was like secretly a Max versus Patrick debate.
He paid us under the table, by the way.
All right, Pat, what's your vote, Pat?
I wish it wasn't against these two, because I would definitely pick the charge blade any day over anything else. Like, I'm just looking at some of the rest of the bracket, but honestly, after just kind of going through the rest of the hunting horn, I'm like, this is too cool and too unique to not put in. I love the mechanics of the charge blade. I hope it shows up someday as like an actual thing, but like if I had to pick one, gun to my head, I would also pick the Forbidden Aria. So it looks like we actually have a unanimous decision. Unless Max is like, no, I want the charge blade.
I mean, I feel like in terms of theming, I feel like the hunting horn has a level of like mystery to it, where it's like even from the name, like it's the Forbidden Aria. Like what does it sound like? It raises questions. I like it has a very pleasing symmetry to it for me personally.
It's Rick Astley.
I think that the charge blade has stiffer competition in terms of thematically, like other charge blades that already exist.
Yeah,
like there are already, while it is very cool, like there are already a number of sort of metal cool charge blades in the game where like definitely. It has a more direct things to compare it to. Like I feel like from the theming and sort of the jade elements the mystery to it. Like even if I wasn't incredibly biased going into this, I think I would still give this to the hunting horn.
Wait, you play hunting horn, Max? That's crazy.
Who?
All right.
Dude, we should make that his like intro.
Yeah. All right. Forbidden Aria moves forward. All right, we're gonna do a quick break here. Great job, guys. Loving the energy, loving the exposition and stuff. I don't think any of us wants to be here longer than like
Till 2 a.m.
Till 2 a.m. Let's try and.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Let's try and pick it up.
We went through 6.
Yeah, we have 32. So
holy
let's
Jesus.
do
also,
a quick.
I would also say that like as we go on, it'll be shorter because we've already expositioned on everything.
Yeah.
So that's going to help. First thoughts. I'm going to try to shorten up, but maybe. Yeah, I think we maybe like 3 sentences is like what we want to.
Wax poetic for
less,
like 1 to 2 sentences.
And less of us. Yeah, and less of us like chiming on each other, which I also need to. That's also a note for myself.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, we're in the part now, Max, where it's like your understanding of Japanese is important. So like, please, like, if anyone's going to expound and like talk longer, on these kanji ones, like it should be you. Just putting that out there. So
I'm pretty limited here, to be honest.
Okay.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if anyone's going to talk longer, it should be you, kind of explaining the translation. So.
Okay. Let's pick it back up. All right, Ryan, if you could get us to the next pairing, which is the Great Sword. We don't know who the artist is, but it is named the Fructo Neck Murgatol.
Why do you guys? Nailed it.
Max might need to help you out on this one.
And that's going up against the longsword Bu, the Kuazarax Edge of Oblivion, which is also from an unknown artist. So Ryan, if you could bring up the Great Sword for us. And audio listeners, if you are listening to this episode, it is a blue and yellowish color, kind of like a teal, yellow accents. There's like a fin thing kind of going on around the hilt. It is kind of like a marlin.
Final Fantasy X vibes.
I'm thinking there's an actual keyblade that kind of looks like this one, right? Am I right, Brian? I feel like there's a keyblade that looks similar to this. Maybe the ultimate keyblade.
I think it's like the ultimate weapon.
Yeah, but there's like accents of teal and stuff like that. Very interesting. It also has like a ship steering wheel around the hilt as well. Interesting.
Yeah.
I like
assuming my limited Japanese is correct, it does say that as you're charging, I think that circular element lights up and spins. Or rotates.
Yeah.
Steering the ship,
That's really cool.
Riding the ship.
Yep. What do you guys think?
I don't know why this is giving me such I feel like this is like a Titus. Maybe the color palette of Titus is getting through from Final Fantasy.
Brotherhood,
because Brotherhood does have that. I think, like the fins.
It just feels very like Final Fantasy X for me for some reason. Also, we haven't seen any Great Swords yet, so like I'm a little bit biased. It's nothing. Like I think it's well done. It's the descriptions in kanji, so unless Max tells me otherwise, I don't have strong feelings about that.
I mean, the text under the name is mainly flavor text. The only other notable text is implying that as you're sort of taking up a stance, that the wheel, I think it is at the center, rotates. It lights up and rotates.
Right. I mean, Great Sword main, like, love it. I think this is like solid design, well done. Wish I spoke or read more Japanese so I could get the full effect. But yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
The next one.
Yeah, let's bring up the next one. The Edge of Oblivion longsword, Ryan.
Oh.
All right, Ryan brought up the Edge of Oblivion longsword. It has a similar color scheme to that kind of Sailor Moon one, except for there's a little bit more dark purple in here. It is a longsword, so it's very thin towards the end, but it is pink and purple, and there kind of seems to be like some sort of purplish, think Magnamalo type flames coming out of the hilt. If you've played Soul Calibur before, it looks like the evil version of Soul Calibur, like the very thin sword. But yeah, there's like it kind of looks like an Interstellar style, like black hole kind of in the center of it.
Yeah, it has that. Yeah, exactly. That's great.
Yeah, but very Magnamalo like colors.
Hate the passive state of it. It's too chunky. I don't like the triangle shape at the top when it's like in the rest state, but like when it's fired up or when it's unsheathed, it's got this like really amazing kind of svelte, like longsword design that I think most people expect. That'd be my only criticism. The hilt is so cool. It's like this gold undulating, helixical helix style handle, like tapers off into like a black hole gem that's being wrapped in gold. I mean, it's beautiful. Like the sheath is gorgeous. The blade, I think like the passive is not great, and I think like when it's fully activated, it looks cool. So that'd be my one criticism, is that like it's too chunky for I think a long sword, when it's not in use. But like the sheath is, or the hilt is gorgeous.
Yep. I'm not sure why it's like reactive. There's a lot of reactive weapons in this one. I feel like the biggest version of it, or like, I guess the one that's kind of in the center where it's like kind of thin and stuff, I feel like that it should just always just look like that. I don't really need
agree with you.
anything to be reactive. If it was just that, I would say like I really like this design, but yeah, it's kind of weird that it kind of gets thick when it's sheathed.
I feel like I can understand, like from a thematic perspective, why you would want it to be reactive, because it's intended to be a black hole that's like sucking things in, and like it's not the kind of theme where you'd want it to just be static. So like I can understand the desire for them to want it to transform as you like unsheath it. I don't know. I mean, I kind of agree with Ryan that I feel like it's a little thick. I'm not sure whether you want it to be something where it's like no sword at all, and then you pull it out and a sword appears.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Oh, I see.
This one's hard to imagine the animation, I think, and that's where I'm struggling with it, where it's like conceptually super cool. Like a black hole sword, A+. Just really good idea. I think like the art and the design and the description like really kind of put it in a ballpark where I'm like, yeah, I can imagine this. But I think that like this might be one where like the art team for Capcom might have to massage it a little bit, because I think that like, again, the hilt is incredible. You look at these side profiles in the middle and like they're just so cool. And I would say in the bottom right, when you can kind of see it in action, it's just really beautiful. Like I love like some of these like defensive and offensive poses that they have in like the bottom right of the image, where it's like the edge of the blade is like pure black and it's like very pointed. It almost looks like it's drawn. Like I don't even know like if you have I mean, games are incredible now, like you have the fidelity to do that, but it's just like it's so pointed that it just looks like it could just mess you up by like stumbling onto it. I mean, it's just so sharp and looks dangerous. But like some of the base designs of the weapons on the left side look I don't know how else to put it. They're not as cool. So it's weird that there's like this really cool blade that's kind of hidden in like some of these other choices that the artist made.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What about you, Brian?
Yeah, I do really enjoy it. I'm curious as to like, so is it in its hilt, in its kind of like purple wide form you were describing, Ryan, where you like didn't like it kind of looking that way?
I don't think it's a hilt though. It expands. It like
just changes.
activates.
Yeah. That's how it does it. I do like it. I like purple. I like the color palette for it. I like its many different forms that it has. And I mean, this name is very interesting. Like Edge of
the flavor
Oblivion's
text,
cool. Yeah.
I like how it gave it its own specific name, so it's not like
Yeah.
it's not just random. It's not just saying
Yeah.
who Arzarak, which sounds very Monster Hunter, by the way. It sounds like an endgame
Yeah. Sounds like a
dragon.
monster.
It actually kind of reminds me a lot. The color scheme is more Teostra
Okay.
with like the deeper purples and stuff like that. But yep.
Yeah,
All right.
Don't we vote?
I like it.
Yep. Let's put it up to a vote. Brian.
I'm gonna go with our KRUSTOMER's Edge of Oblivion. I think it just overall it wins in pure uniqueness and design, and I like all the different elements that they displayed.
Max.
I'm going to agree. I mean, I agree with Ryan that I don't know how I feel about some of the forms, but there's like 5 different longswords included in this design, and I like enough of them that I think that I would put this one to the KRUSTOMER.
Ryan.
Yeah, I like the great sword. It's cool to see great sword in the running, but I think that the long sword is just like stronger at this point in the competition. I'm sure it'll get edged out later on just because the chunkiness of like some of the earlier or the sheath designs. But as for now, I think it's like the better contender.
Yeah, and I agree with everything that you guys said. The Edge of Oblivion longsword moves on to the next round. Next up, we have a hammer weapon design by Stormrider Art. That is named the Singularity Divider, and that's going up against Shatter Seal, a greatsword designed by Nolan192. So, Ryan, if you bring up the greatsword. Oh, I'm sorry.
This is cool.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bring up the hammer. Yeah. All right. It's another kind of like space-themed weapon, black hole-themed weapon. It's... Oh. I'm having trouble trying to figure out how to describe this thing. So the main part of the hammer is kind of a purplish, reddish black hole. Kind of surrounded by, if you guys have ever watched Naruto, it's kind of like Sasuke's... what's that fucking purple armor? You know what I'm talking about, Brian?
When he uses
Like the Susanoo.
Susanoo, thank you.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it's reminding me of, but it's a lot spikier. Or also, if you watch Power Rangers the movie, when the dinosaur bones kind of start like attacking the Power Rangers, and like it's kind of spiky
very,
like that.
It's very
It's
like
interesting.
it's like a black hole, like covered in an organic shell of spikes.
Yeah,
for sure.
Kind of like
It's like bony,
fuck,
spiky.
what is the fucking crab?
Diablo's skull. Yeah, Hermitor.
Yeah, the Hermitor shell kind of looks like that in some profiles.
It's very like it's like a classic hammer though, right? The front of it is like more blunt, less spiky, and the back is spiky.
Very
it almost
spiky,
like
yeah.
gives this velocity that like as you swing the hammer, it's like okay, the front is blunt, and like as a classic hammer damage dealer does, like you just bonk it, but like the spikes are all like in the opposite direction, so it has this like kinetic element to it that's like really cool. And like in the design, you can see that like the black hole changes colors too as it goes. And I'm not a hammer user, but like this is pretty freaking cool. It looks like the skull of a ancient dragon held together by gravity. I mean, it's
I think that's a perfect way
very
to put that.
dynamic. Yeah, Singularity Divider, very cool design. Like they did a great job of giving you. The artist gave you a great job of.
Yep. Hey guys, sorry we're back. We had a couple of technical issues. Something happened. Basically Ryan's computer exploded. I believe Brian or Ryan, you guys were talking about what you guys liked about the Singularity Divider. Divider. Yeah, but yeah, we kind of explained what it looks like. But how do you guys feel about it? Let's start with Brian.
Yeah, similar to the longsword we were seeing earlier, I really like this design too of continuing that, having a black hole singularity as the power source, or just what's in the middle of the weapon. It would have been really hard if this was side by side with that longsword. I feel like oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this was mentioned before when you're describing it. Kind of, I think Ryan, you were saying it was almost like a wyvern's head, or if that was you, Pat. But I can see it being almost like something like a Basarios weapon or some sort of Gravios, skull, or at least maybe shells from it that were
compared to the Hermitor, I think almost.
Yeah,
just like
exactly.
the Diablo skull.
Yeah. So I think what's very fascinating to me, a lot of the other weapons that are, of course, very, very metal and steel, do have this going for them as well. But this is one of the first weapons that I'm starting to see where I'm like, that would actually fucking hurt. Like, that looks lethal. Like, just spikes and just a black hole, smacking something. Like, it just looks like it would do some serious damage.
Do you think the spikes or the black hole would hurt more?
I would imagine the black hole would probably hurt more. I think that's gonna suck away your
just
face.
Spaghettify you.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really enjoying this design. It's simple, but it works. It works really well for the weapon, and I love the different charge states. I'm curious what would charge level 2 look like? Or I guess there's a 1 and 2 charge, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't play Hammer.
I don't hammy. So I love it though. It's cool.
I'm also a sucker for weapons with different charge states where like there's other hammers I think in the past where it's like as you charge it up, like it expands out or like the Queen Celtis or whatever it is, the hammer that starts spinning where it's a drill as you charge it up. Those are really cool. I feel like this one's almost too simple. Like there's something about it that doesn't really stick together for me. Like there's something about like just the spikes where like, oh my god, it's this giant purple black hole and then this rock. Like I feel like
they're very
the element of like the black hole and then like this simple spiky hammer, like those two things just don't fit together for me for some reason. But like I do like the idea of sort of like the expanding as you charge it up. It does certainly look like it would hurt. And I do like the sort of the purple and crimson color palette a lot.
I'm getting exactly the same feeling that Max is getting. And this is, I'm trying not to, like, this is not mean. I'm trying not to make it sound mean or mean it in a mean way. But this kind of reminds me of like a Fortnite, like,
oh my god!
It does.
That is mean.
Is that mean? Fortnite's one of the best-selling games ever. But just like it's like a pickaxe.
Dorks, like
Stormrider art is crying.
I'm sorry. It looks really cool, but I think because Max said, yeah, there's a black hole and then there's like this bone thing. Like I just don't quite like those two things are just so different that it just doesn't quite work for me.
So for me, it's like that longsword that we talked about, Ku Azarax, is like fully embrace the edginess. Like, yes, it's a black hole and it's got all these effects and it's going crazy, and like they took that black hole concept and they ran miles with it. And this is like, oh, we've got a black hole, and then they scaled it back to where you look at it and you're like, this could 100% fit as a weapon in the game, like as it is portrayed in front of us. And I feel like they scaled it back too much. Like it's honestly not edgy enough for the black hole concept.
I think if it wasn't a black hole, and I feel like if it was like a brain, I think if it was a brain that was holding together the pieces like through electricity or some like or maybe black nerves holes, or some
black
shit.
Black holes are definitely a low-hanging fruit. That's actually a great piece of feedback. I think that's an incredible adjustment. Yeah. I think we also did 2 back-to-back black hole weapons, so that's.
I think that's tough as well. I do really like that longsword design. I think it, like Max said, it kind of bleeds or it kind of like works because it kind of keeps the theme going through. And this is just like 2 completely different ideas put together, and it just doesn't work for me in that way. But,
by the way, we have not seen the matchup here. The longsword is not the matchup.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
see the matchup?
Let's go ahead and move on to the Shatter Seal Greatsword by Nolan192. And oh boy, I think this is going to be a fan favorite.
Oh yeah.
This is.
Look, we've gotten one other Greatsword piece so far, and this rips, dude. Like this is so cool. And also, I love how like you would think that like the sword would shatter and get more kind of like ethereal and like mystical as it charges up. Nope.
Mhm.
The blade actually gets more solidified as you charge it, which I think is kind of genius in a way, because
That's fucking
you would think
sick.
it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Also, like in the bottom, okay, so again, for the audio listeners, like it's this very simple, just giant like blade with not a point. It's like it's just a flat end.
It's very
And there's,
Guilty Gear Soul bad guy sword.
but there's this ornate gold trimming on it, and there's like the middle of the blade has this like rip in time, kind of like shattered, like looks like the metal sword is a piece of glass, which is just
Yeah.
like this disjunctive
Oh
or
my
your,
god.
like thing that like makes your brain like just like kind of short circuit, where you're like, we know that it's metal and steel, but it looks like glass.
Have
And,
you
like,
guys
that's brilliant.
look at the middle one? Do you guys see what I'm seeing?
That kaiju number 8.
Yeah, there's
Like,
actually
come
like
out.
some sort of
Nice.
fucking like kaiju like mouth
Yeah,
monster,
demon face.
and where the kind of broken glass part where it looks like a baseball hit through it, that's where the eye
eye.
is. What the fuck? That's crazy.
I think it's almost cooler. That's on the middle. That's on the middle frame instead of like the final frame.
Yeah.
Like that's almost more striking that it like that's just like hidden in the middle somewhere, and like
Yeah.
at the end it's like, oh, here's a nice little mirror. It's like
I can
it's
imagine,
this
like,
thing is lurking in there.
As you're
It's in there,
charging it
yeah.
up,
Feels-
as the kind of debris kind of settles back into being its form, like you could see like maybe a couple frames of like just that face, and then it becomes like the full sword, and it
That's
just
so
shines.
cool.
And then look at the fucking bottom right where you actually land
Yeah.
the charge hit. I could like, it's kind of showing
like
that there's like
time
a
and space
rift
is
in
shattered.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fucking insane.
How will they
I
do
think
that?
I
I don't know. I don't know.
My frame rate is just going to die, dude.
Just
I don't think there's any weapons that have unique hit effects.
yeah, that would be fucking.
But even
sick,
the visual
though.
effects on the
Yeah.
weapon itself are cool enough for me.
Yeah,
Love
of
the
course.
extra dimensionality to this. Like even if they have like this shimmer of like almost like a trapped soul in the blade
Mm.
as you swing it, like that's good enough for me. Like you don't have to shatter space and time in the
Yeah.
actual game. Like the fact that like this thing sits on your back hovering in pieces, it's like magic is holding it together, all these shards of glass which are actually steel, which again is like such a mind bend where you're like, okay, these like disparate elements are coming together. It's like, again, you have this giant steel blade that will mess you up, you have this like design and this animation that makes it feel more fragile, and then it comes together as you charge it up. It's just beautiful. This
What I
is
love,
such a solid design.
what I love about this is how simple it is, and then like the more you look at it, it just gets more intricate, but yet
Mhm.
like it's so simple. Like there's what, maybe 4 colors in this entire thing. There's gold, there's
Mhm.
different hues of like white and gray. And then the actual cracks in the sword, it has like a nice teal to it. And like it kind of reminds me of a great sword that I had. I think it was a dragon great sword in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. Or yeah. And it had like a giant, it was very like flat, but it was pointed, and then there was like a ball in the middle that had like a teal glow to it, and kind of like a sphere grid type Final Fantasy X like sphere. And so like this is, yeah, I think this is
Incredible.
insanely good. I love the fact that when you finish off like the charge attack, it has that extra like
Reshatters,
dimensional
yeah.
rift.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is
Maybe not practical
insane.
for the actual developers, but very cool on this splash page
Yeah.
for sure.
Mhm.
We vote on it?
Yeah, let's put it up to a vote.
I think we know what we
All
want.
right.
All right. So this is the Singularity Divider versus the Shatter Seal Great Sword. Who wants to go first?
Max?
I think this is a pretty easy one for me. I'm going to go with the Shatter Seal Greatsword. I think my initial impression was that, like, I think it would have been lesser if it actually broke apart. I think it's more interesting having it start as shattered and sort of come together. Like there's just so many cool elements on top of a design that's like there's a lot of depth to it, and it's a very interesting weapon. I'm going to go with that one.
Brian?
I have to echo that.
Oh, Brian. Yeah, this is the problem of having a Ryan Brian comment. Brian, go ahead.
We got to go at the same time. I want to steal away and go for second place here, but yeah, why do the great swords always have to be so fucking cool?
Because there's so much more surface area.
There's more area to work with. They just got to make a big old hammer.
Of course, I would agree with that comment.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of time we spent just discussing it, the amount of detail that was seen over time. I mean, it's just hands down that's the winner right there. The Shatter Seal is just, I want it. I would use a great sword. I will use a great sword for this weapon. I want it right now.
But why don't you fucking pay for it? Ryan, pretty sure you're gonna go with the Singularity Divider.
We got to give the nod to the Singularity Divider too. Like, it's not a bad design. Like, really well done. The art is
none
cool.
of these are bad.
Especially the single, just the single frame of like the detailed look at it. You're like, man, like you can tell that the designer was like so in love with this idea. It's a little bit unfortunate that it's stacked up right against another black hole design, so it's kind of like apples to oranges, or like, you know, apples to apples, I guess. But yeah, I think the Shatter Seal is like I think this could win it all. This is my pick for like the winner of the whole bracket right here.
Yeah.
Steal the show.
Yeah, it's funny just seeing that the two back-to-back black hole designs. It just makes me wonder what kind of fucking black hole monster that we would fight in order to gain these weapons.
What's a black hole dragon for sure, dude? That'd be incredible.
Or a brown hole dragon. Yeah, I think this one is pretty
so tasty.
Get those dung pods ready.
I think Shatter Steel Greatsword is like a great design all around. I love the concept. I love the mechanics. I love the little like attention to detail. I think it's great. Singularity Divider. It's a great weapon. Really cool looking. The concept of mashing those two things together didn't really fit for me. I think I would have had a harder time trying to decide maybe if Singularity Divider had like a brain instead of a black hole and kind of had like sinew. And
such a great piece of feedback, by the way. I love that idea.
Thank you.
I like it.
I mean, they'd have to change the name because that wouldn't fit with the Singularity. So another unanimous decision. Shatter Seal Greatsword by Nolan 192 is going to go ahead and move forward. And unfortunately, guys, we're going to have to break this up into parts because we want to give everyone their due because they put in such great artwork. So we're going to break this episode into parts. We'll go ahead and release it as we film it. Thank you for everyone who put in submissions. This is one of my favorite episodes that we've done. Great idea, Max and Ryan, for putting all this together. Thank you, Ryan, for getting all of the assets and stuff ready and allowing us to do this in the way that we're doing it. This is the end of this episode, but Brian, Max, and Ryan, I want to thank you guys again for coming out for another episode of the Palibros. Of course, fellow hunters, I want to thank you guys for coming out and watching this episode. If you like what we do or enjoy this episode, go ahead and like, subscribe, share, do all the socials. Send this to a friend. Helps us with the algorithm, helps us get discovered. And thank you guys so much for watching. We're gonna put up part 2 as soon as we film it, and then we'll keep going from there. So thank you guys, and as always, happy hunting.